Welcome back to the Woodstock Trader. In today's episode, we review Benchmade's 535 Bugout. You know, I was watching a video review of this knife on Blade HQ a little while back, and it intrigued me. I had not really considered the bailout before. I've got a lot of Benchmades, and my favorite Benchmade of all time is the 940 Osborne. So I thought, well, I just can't beat that. Why buy another? But after watching the video and learning a little more about it, I decided, yeah, it's time to pull the trigger. So here we have a 535 with the blue scales or blue frames. This was I bought this through Blade HQ, one of several dealers that I buy from. Comes in a blue box, and really nothing to do with the blue blade. The blue box has to do with the class of knife. Benchmade has three classes: gold, blue, and black. Most of Benchmade's products falls within the blue class, like the Bugout and the bailout. It is where you'll find most of the knives that we review on this channel and most knives you probably see on the internet or in the blue class. The gold class is a high-end line that they like to call, that is a somewhere between custom and manufactured. So manufactured customs is probably what I would get from that. And then there's the black class, which is targeted towards military, law enforcement, and personnel like that. And this is actually a black class knife, although very similar to the Bugout. In our Don't Talk Spec to Me segment, we like to be short and sweet about it, not go too deep into all the specs, which go on and on and on and on. We like to talk about three important features of any knife: blade shape, the frame and locking mechanism, and the material the blade is made out of. So first up, blade shape. This is a drop point design, about 3.24 inches, flat grind. It's very slim at the back, only 0.09 inches according to what I'm reading. Open, about 7.5 inches long, closed about 4.25. The frame is made up of short liners inside the polymer scales or frame. The polymer has a web on the back of it that gives it its strength. It does flex a tiny bit, but pretty strong considering how thin they are. It uses the axis lock system for closing and locking in place. And as I've talked about on this channel before, the axis lock is one of my favorite locking mechanisms of all time. The Able lock with Doug Ritter is an equal to that, but I've got lots of axis lock, and you just can't go wrong with an axis lock as far as ease of opening and locking in place. Getting back to the specs, it has two thumb studs on each side. The spacers on this knife are even colored the same as the handles and the thumb studs, which I thought was a nice feature. The pocket clip is tip-up only carry. Be nice if I had a tip-up, but that tip-up only carry, but is reversible for left side use. The blade material is CPMS 30V, which I consider a good all-around stainless steel for everyday carries. It doesn't have quite the edge retention of some of the premium steels, but it's a lot easier to sharpen than some of the steels like D2, LMAX, and the like. It's a good quality, and it also keeps the price of the knife down, because in a lot of cases, a premium steel is going to run the cost of the knife up, as most of you know. So Ease of sharpening versus toughness, good retention, and good edge retention and corrosion resistance kind of balance out this knife. In our talk to the hand segment, well, you know, when I first got this knife, I thought to myself, like, oh man, oh my God, this is a thin knife and light. I mean, I'm so used to heavier frame lock knives and some other carries, DPX, my Lion Spy, they're all heavier knives. Not to say that they're heavy knives, but they're heavier. This knife is under 2 ounces with a 3.24-inch blade, at 7.5 inches long. It's under 2 ounces. That was unbelievable. So at first it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's like I'm gonna drop it. It's gonna bounce and go into the stratosphere. No. It did take a little getting used to, but I'm becoming a fan of it because when you put it in your pocket, not only is the thinness of the knife paying off, the lightness of the knife. It doesn't weigh your pants down. You could wear this in shorts, even though it's a little bit, I'd probably go with the mini Bugout for wearing in shorts, but still, you hardly know what's there. The clip being a shorter, deep carry design also minimalizes the effect of what you feel in your pocket. So, what I like about the knife, obviously, in the hand, the axis lock system. The studs seem to be the right size for flipping it open. The knife is a good length for me. The handles don't seem to be too wide. They are thin, and the pocket clip doesn't seem to imprint itself in my palm. What I'm not a big fan of course, is the polymer scales. But I'm growing accustomed to them because I realized this knife was designed to be light and thin. And you can replace these scales, by the way. To put on heavier scales or larger scales would turn it into a different Benchmade. So I'm thinking, I need to keep it just the way it is, because that's the beauty of the knife, the way this was designed to be so light and so thin. I mean, it opens up buttery smooth. The shape of the knife is very streamlined. There's not a lot of protruding angles. Although I'm not a big lanyard fan, I like the fact that they give you a decent lanyard hole for the knife, because some knives, it's like you can't even put your shoelace through that. You'd be like threading it or something. This gives you a decent lanyard hold if you want to use paracord or something like that, or put a traditional lanyard on it. So, and it looks decent and doesn't seem to be in the way of the knife function. One of the problems, the complaints about the bailout is that lanyard hole in the back, it's kind of a pummel. If you can take it or leave it. This I can definitely take. So talking to the hand, oh yeah, the hand is happy. So in our inspect, collect, or reject, I think it's hands down, hands up, blade up, a collect. There's a reason this is such a bestseller and it has such a huge following, because it does what it was designed to do. I see no serious defects in it. Obviously, it's going to take me a little time to get used to the lightness and the polymer scales or frame. But when I want to carry something, like when I'm riding my motorcycle, that just doesn't weigh me down, doesn't bulk up in the pants, and there again, don't be bulking up inside your pants. This is a good choice. So definitely a collect. I don't think you can go wrong buying this knife. See you next time.